You're loyal, you've never cheated, you barely even flirt. So why does he keep accusing you, right? Why is he going through your phone, watching your stories like a hawk, acting really distant after a girl's night out, right? People love to say, oh, it's just projection or he's just insecure. But I want to stop you right there because those explanations barely scratch the surface. They offer a kind of comfortable, watered down answer to something that is so much more calculated and harmful. And in many cases, they're dead wrong. Calling it insecurity protects abusers. Calling it projection misses the point. And this doesn't happen because you're weak or naive. It happens because you're empathetic, because you believe in fairness and in truth. Smart, strong women fall into these traps all the time because they try to understand people who weaponize confusion. So let's talk about what's really going on when somebody accuses you of cheating, even when you've done absolutely nothing wrong. Now, I'm Lisa Sonni. I am a toxic and abusive relationship expert. I help women just exit and heal from these kinds of relationships. I've got over 1 million followers across my social media platforms, and I have written 4 books, and I'm the creator of the Trauma Bond Recovery course. Hit subscribe if these topics help you. Okay, so let's start with projection, because that's literally the first thing that people jump to, right? The idea is he's cheating, so he assumes you are too. He can lie, so he assumes you can too. And yeah, that absolutely does happen. There's even an expression, right? If a narcissist cheats on you, he'll never trust you again. Hear that again, right? If a narcissist cheats on you, he'll never trust you again because he's already planning what he would do in your shoes. So let's say he's been flirting at work, texting someone behind your back, maybe even crossing lines. Now he's paranoid you're doing the exact same thing, even if you've given him no reason to think that. Why? Because if he can do it and still lie to your face, what's stopping you from doing the same? But here's the thing. Even when he's not cheating, the accusations come. The paranoia, the rage, just that endless questioning. So if he's not projecting, then what is it? It's control. Accusing you of cheating isn't just about fear. It's not an emotional outburst. It's a tactic. Because here's what happens when someone you love accuses you of something so big, just so false, so personal, right? You stop and explain, you plead, you reassure, you try harder, you stop going out, you avoid eye contact with men, you change your outfits, you delete your social media, you do everything you can to make it easier, but it never gets easier. And that's because it was never about what you were doing. It was about making you smaller. And listen, it works. It works because the accusation itself becomes this like emotional handcuff, right? It takes the focus off of his behavior and it puts it right onto your shoulders. Now you're the one trying to prove your loyalty, your innocence, and your worth. Meanwhile, he sits back. He enjoys the power that comes from watching you scramble, right? The accusations are really a form of gaslighting because they make you question your reality. You start to doubt your own intentions, your behavior, even your memories. You feel guilty for things you didn't even do. You feel ashamed for things you never even thought of doing. And that's not honesty. That is psychological warfare, to be honest, right? I want to go even deeper. Now, a lot of people will say, well, he's just insecure. But there's actually a massive difference between feeling insecure and using that to manipulate someone. A man who's insecure but not abusive, he might say something like, hey, listen, I know this is my issue, but when you get all dressed up to go out, I kind of get in my head. Do you think you could text me once or twice just so I still feel connected? Or sometimes I just get nervous and I know it's not your job to fix that, but it helps if we check in. Or maybe something like, listen, I get a little bit anxious when I don't hear from you late at night, even though I do trust you. It's just something I'm working on, but if we stayed in touch, it would really help. That's taking ownership, right? He's not punishing you for it. That's what healthy-ish insecurity looks like. It's not perfect, but it's honest. And it leaves your autonomy intact. But on the flip side, if somebody says, you're not going out dressed like that, or something like, God, you always need attention. I bet you're cheating. You must be looking to cheat. That's not insecurity, that is control and it's abuse. Here's the difference. Insecurity makes requests, but abuse makes demands. It punishes you when you don't obey. So here's the double standard, which is wild and so common, right? He's following like bikini models online, Instagram models. He flirts with his exes. he laughs too hard at another woman's joke. But if you just look cute or post a picture or just go out with friends, suddenly you're the problem, right? He gets freedom and you get surveillance. So let's talk about abusers and narcissists, because a lot of people want to know the distinction between the two. There's a common belief that narcissists are just insecure. Neither abusers or narcissists are operating from insecurity. An abuser feels entitled to your time, your body, your attention. They don't feel afraid of losing you. They feel outraged when you act like you belong to yourself. And narcissists literally forget the old idea that they're just deeply insecure. Listen to modern experts like Dr. Gregory Lester, Dr. George Simon, Dr. Les Carter, Dr. Peter Salerno. They're shifting that story. They do not hurt you because they hate themselves. They hurt you because they want control. They lie without guilt. They manipulate without shame. They accuse without ever having evidence, because that's not the point. They don't trust anyone. They're not seeking connection. They're literally just kind of managing territory, you know? They don't want mutual trust. They want dominance, and they disguise it as devotion. You know it. They want to be worshipped, not understood. And if you have the audacity to question their behavior, you will be punished. And let's be honest, right? This entire thing, it trains you. You learn to shrink yourself, be smaller. You learn to second guess your own reactions. And you start wondering, am I the one who's wrong? Maybe I shouldn't have smiled at that guy. Maybe I am doing something that I don't even realize. You're not overthinking, you're surviving. And this is really how trauma bonds form. If you don't know what a trauma bond is, it is an unhealthy attachment that exists in a relationship where there's abuse mixed with kindness. So they always oscillate between good and bad. Mean, abuse, kindness, flowers, gaslighting, it's all mixed in together. They accuse, you chase clarity. They withdraw, you overcompensate. They punish, and you learn to reward them with compliance just to get the pain to stop. This is such an unconscious thing that we do when we're stuck in these relationships. Now, the most heartbreaking part, when someone you love paints you as disloyal, it doesn't just hurt. It literally confuses everything about you. You know you're faithful. You know that you have good intentions and that you're not out looking to cheat or that you're cheating. You just want to be seen. And instead, you're basically being surveilled. And that disconnect creates such emotional chaos in us, and it really just wears you down. I want to tell you about this woman who, let's call her Sarah, okay? Sarah was dating a man who constantly accused her of cheating. He would grill her about her outfits, ask her why she was wearing certain things, refusing to let her go on work trips. He made her send selfies to prove where she was. She stopped wearing makeup. She stopped seeing her friends. This woman even changed jobs. And it was all in this effort to make him feel safe. And it was all in an effort to make him feel safe. But unsurprisingly, he never felt safe, because it was never about safety. It was always about control. And the more that she gave up, the worse it got for her. This woman could have walked around in a paper bag and he still would have accused her, because the goal wasn't preventing cheating. The goal was ensuring obedience. And the truth is, we can't prevent someone who wants to cheat from cheating anyway. So here's another little truth bomb. The ones who cheat often accuse the most. Why? Because they assume you'll do what they did. Because they know how easy it is to lie. And if they're busy accusing you, then you're too busy defending yourself to even question them. This whole thing, I'm telling you, it is a smokescreen, it is a distraction and a power play. And the worst part is it works. Because when you're always explaining and defending, you're not observing. You're not observing them. You're busy proving you're not protecting yourself. And so before we close, I just want to leave you with this. There is a reason that these accusations feel so devastating. It's not just the content, it's the context. They usually come after love bombing, after moments of connection, like he's shown you just enough warmth to make you believe that he really sees you. And then out of nowhere, he flips, right? Suddenly you're a villain in a story you didn't even write. And what's worse is he frames it as your fault. Like your kindness just proves that you can't be trusted. You smiled at the barista, so you can't be trusted. Over time, you're going to start to internalize that accusation, and you might stop defending yourself out loud, but inside, you start to doubt. You start changing your own behavior. You replay every text, every smile, every laugh at a stranger's joke. and you don't trust yourself anymore. And that is exactly the point. These accusations are not a flaw in the relationship. They are the relationship. And we have got to name it for what it is. This is not love. Love doesn't interrogate you. Love doesn't accuse you of infidelity every time you smile at a server. Love doesn't make you prove your innocence over and over again. This is ownership. This is possession, and it's abuse. If he doesn't trust you, but he expects you to trust him blindly, that is not a relationship. That's a trap. Just because he didn't hit you, it doesn't mean that it's not abuse. Emotional abuse is real, and it can be just as destructive, if not more. You're stuck trying to prove that you're good to someone who decided that you weren't, no matter what. That's not love. That's entrapment. You don't have to shrink yourself to be safe, and you don't have to prove your worth. You don't have to accept his accusations as affection. I only feel this way because I love you so much. Please. The accusations are never about what you're actually doing. They're used to keep you too tired, too confused, and too broken to leave. But now you know the game. You don't have to play this game anymore. So if you've learned something here or felt validated, hit like, share this video with someone who needs it, and subscribe because you do not want to miss the next video either.